performed to examine the neural interactions of the seed brain region with other brain regions in an intrinsic motivation condition compared to the non-intrinsic motivation condition. Neglecting multiple comparison inferences in the group level subtraction and API analyses, Monte Carlo simulation, format of ALP 12 was used, which determined the cluster-wise threshold, corrected P0.05 considering both the voxel-wise threshold, P0.005 and 54, a minimum volume of 432 mm3. 1. The brain region significantly activated in the subtraction and PPI analyses were reported in MNI coordinates. Results. We found that the right EMPFC, Fig. 2A, right ACC, Fig. 2B, bilateral dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and left middle temporal gyrus were more activated when participants remembered intrinsically motivating memories than when they remembered non-intrinsically motivating memories, corrected P0.05. No brain region was more activated when participants remembered non-intrinsically motivating memories than when they remembered intrinsically motivating memories. The results of the subtraction analysis appeared in Table 2. Fig. To the right ventromedial prefrontal cortex, A, and anterior cingulate cortex, B, were more activated during intrinsically motivating memories than during non-intrinsically motivating memories, corrected P0.05. Bold signal changes between the two conditions are presented. I am intrinsic motivation memories, and I am non-intrinsic motivation memories. Results of the subtraction analysis between intrinsically motivating and non-intrinsically motivating memories. Brain region. BA. Volume.
The revived flight will arrive in 1 minute.
MNI coordinates. Maximum t-value. X. Y. Z. Intrinsically motivating non-intrinsically motivating memories. Ventromedial prefrontal cortex. 10. 19,672. R. 2. 48. 0. 6.48. Anterior cingulate cortex. 32. 520. 2. 28. 32. 4.07.
Ship terminal is almost ready.
Cortex. 9. 32. L. 24. 40. 36. 5.64. 8. 3216. R. 22. 40.
The safe zone is
42.
collapsing.
6.95. Posterior cingulate cortex. 31. 4176. 0. 62. 28. 6.25. Middle temporal gyrus. 21. 448. L. 64. 2. 18. 5.53. The cluster-wise threshold, correct P0.05 is determined by voxel-wise threshold, P0.005 in the minimum volume, 54 contiguous voxel. 432 mm3. The right EMPFC, peak coordinates of the seed brain region, 2.480. Volume, 19,672 mm3. The right ACC, peak coordinates of the seed brain region, 2.28.32.
Airdrop incoming.
520 mm3, observed in the subtraction analysis, were considered as seed brain regions for PPI analyses. PPI analysis showed that neither brain seed regions interacted with the other three
The revived
brain
flight
regions
will arrive in
featured
1
in
minute.
Table 2. The two seed regions themselves, however, interacted with one another. Specifically, the right ACC as a seed showed greater negative interactions with the right VMPFC, peak MNI coordinate, 6, 44, 10. Maximum t-value equals 4.56. Volume, 512 mm3.
Airdrop has been delivered.
Remembered intrinsically motivating memories relative to when they remembered non-intrinsically motivating memories, corrected P0.05. as a seed. The entire volume of right VMPFC activity observed in the subtraction analysis did not show any interactions with any other brain regions. However, a supplemental PPI analysis using this small
Airdrop
volume
incoming.
of VMPFC activity as a seed, that is, a sphere with a diameter of 5 mm centered around the peak coordinates, confirmed the negative interactions with right ACC activity, and NI coordinates 2, 20, 32. Maximum p-value equals 5.10. Volume 480 mm3, when participants remembered intrinsically motivating memories relative to when they remembered non-intrinsically motivating memories, corrected p 0.5. Together, these PPI analyses revealed that the right ACC as a seed showed negative interactions with the right VMPFC, just as the right VMPFC showed negative interactions with the right ACC. Discussion. In the present study, we sought to identify the neural correlates of retrospective and motivating memories. To do so, we compared neural activations when participants remembered intrinsically motivating situations versus when they remembered non-intrinsically motivating situations. We found that the VMPFC showed greater neural activity in the memories of intrinsically motivating situations than in the memories of non-intrinsically motivating situations. The VMPFC, together with the striatum, is a well-known brain region for reward processing. 1.
The revived flight will arrive in 1 minute.
27. In
Airdrop has been
particular,
delivered.
VMPFC activity is related to calculating and storing the values of rewarding stimuli or situations, providing the mental space where people compare the competing values in decision-making situations. O'Doherty, 31, 32. Where the variations related to reward processing are known to mainly reflect the values of intrinsic reward. Garage and Pringelbach, 1. Roles, 37. Studies have found that these brain regions reflect evaluation of intrinsic or social rewards as well. Lee Domenico and 9. Reeve and Lee, 33. The MPFC activity of this study suggests the remembering of the pleasurable aspect of people's intrinsic motivation. In addition, greater ACC activity is observed in the memories of intrinsically motivating situations than in the memories of non-intrinsically motivating situations. ACC activity has been observed
Airdrop
in
incoming.
cognitive processes and is known to have multiple functions. Bush et al. 2. ACC activity is known to evaluate personal importance during a given situation. Heilbronner and Hayden, 16. In
Airdrop
addition,
has been
the
delivered.
ACC, together with the DLPFC, importantly functions for the exertion of mental effort. Shackman et al. 43. ACC activity is also activated by monitoring errors and conflicts as well as regulating emotional and cognitive processes in decision-making situations. Carter et al. 4. Williams et al. 50. In the present study, participants neither compared competing options nor monitored errors and conflicts during task performance. Rather, ACC activity of the study suggests that remembering high personal importance within the value aspect of people's intrinsic motivation.
The revived flight will arrive in 1 minute.
related to VMPFC activity, personal needs related to ACC activity, and the memories of intrinsic motivation are in line with the theoretical position of SDT 41. SDT conceptualizes that intrinsic motivation is based on the pursuit and satisfaction of psychological needs. For example,
Tank has been delivered.
competence, relatedness. The pursuit and satisfaction encompass not only the hedonic aspect, for example, positive emotional reactions, but also the eudaimonic aspect, for example, meaning, flourishing, and the affordance of opportunities for autonomy.
Chip terminal is almost
and
ready.
relatedness satisfactions. Ryan and Dechi, 41. Therefore, within the SDT framework, both hedonia and eudaimonia are considered as core parts in the construction and reconstruction of intrinsically motivating memories. Ryan et al. 40. Ryan and Huda, 42.
The safe zone is
The neural
collapsing.
activations during retrospective intrinsic motivation memory seem to be somewhat different from the neural activations that occur during the ongoing experience of intrinsic motivation. In previous neuroimaging studies, when participants actually experienced intrinsic motivation during a task performance, they generally showed not only the neural activations of the cortical brain regions, for example, ACC, VMPFC, but also those of the subcortical brain regions, for example, striatum, anterior insula, Lee and Reed, 22, Slotty and Delgado, 24, 25. In this study, however,
Airdrop incoming.
Intrinsic motivation episode. We can assume that, though the ongoing experiences of intrinsic motivation is experienced by the involvement of both cortical, conscious, and subcortical, unconscious processes,
The revived
it is
flight will
stored in
arrive
the
in 1
conscious
minute.
form in the
Airdrop
cortical
has
brain
been
regions,
delivered.
and then represented and utilized when the information is needed. This is consistent with the neuroscience knowledge that many forms of emotional and motivation experiences processed by subcortical brain regions are stored in the cortical brain regions.
Airdrop
Read and
incoming.
34. This is also consistent with the motivation theories that the accumulated experiences of effective motivation, for example, interest, form a consciously rich emotional schema. Read et al. 35. This idea is supported by the neural activation patterns observed in this study in terms of the processes of episodic memories. Not only the cortical brain regions, for example, prefrontal and posterior parietal regions, but also the subcortical brain regions, for example, hippocampus, are known as hub brain regions for the encoding and retrieval processes of episodic memories. Cabeza et al. 3. Wagner et al. 48. In this study, however, only the cortical brain regions, including the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and posterior cingulate cortex, showed greater neural
Airdrop incoming.
activations in the memories of intrinsically motivating situations than in the memories of non-intrinsically motivating situations. The cortical brain regions are associated with getting the gist from the details of episodic memories and reconstructing
Airdrop has been
long-lasting
delivered.
memories based on this gist. Moskowitz et al. 28. It seems likely that people can remember intrinsically motivating episodes prominently by retrieving the core features of these episodes rather than by retrieving the detailed features. Therefore, these just motivation memories can be long-lasting and impactful on subsequent decisions and behaviors. In addition, finding was that the neural activities of the VMPFC and ACC were complementary during intrinsic motivation. That is, the
revived
greater
flight will
ACC
arrive in
activities that occurred during the memories of intrinsically motivating situations, the weaker was the VMPFC activities that occurred. The same negative neural correlation between ACC and VMPFC activities has also been observed in decision-making studies. 49. Not only neuroscientists, Rushworth et al. 39, but also SDT researchers, D. Domenico and Ryan, 9, suggested that VMPFC activity is more related to evaluating and representing pleasurable values, whereas ACC activity is more related to evaluating and representing the personal meaning.
Chip terminal is
Therefore,
almost ready.
we can assume that people can retrieve motivation memories as more weighing the pleasurable aspect of the memories or the meaningful aspect. In other words, the experiences of intrinsic motivation are engraved and retrieved relatively more based on pleasure or personal meaning. Ryan and Detti, 41.
The safe zone is collapsing.
Limitations. The present
Airdrop
study
incoming.
has possible limitations. First, the neural activations observed in the intrinsic motivation condition could be influenced not only by intrinsic motivation memories themselves, but also by other
Airdrop has
studies.
been delivered.
Therefore, there could be possible alternative interpretations for the neural activations observed in this study. For example, intrinsically motivating memories showed greater neural involvement, as these memories could be more
The last
salient
revived
compared to
flight
the
will arrive in 1
non-intrinsically
minute.
motivating memories.
Location
There
exposed.
might also be gender differences in the neural activations in the memories of intrinsically motivating situations. Though we could not partial out all possible confounding effects, this study is worth noting as an exploratory neuroimaging study about retrospective intrinsic motivation memories, which suggest a possible neural explanation why intrinsically motivating memories are memorable. Second, though we explored the neural activations of the retrospective intrinsic motivation memories, we could not directly examine the influences of those neural activations on subsequent cognitive processes such as task persistence, decision-making, and so on. Because the memories of intrinsically motivating situations are known to exert critical effects on people's cognition, emotion, and behavior, future research is required to test these subsequent effects. Provoking questions encouraged participants to remember intrinsic motivation episodes in general. See Table 1, and we found that participants then showed all of the above: BMPFC activity, ACC activity, and BMPFC-ACC negative interactions. We therefore inferred that participants employed two complementary neural processes, one related to pleasure, the other related to personal meaning. To better understand these two complementary processes, a future research study could partition our one set of general intrinsic motivation memories into two conditions. One allows participants to recall intrinsic motivation memories related specifically to pleasure. For example, remember an activity that you enjoyed, and another that asks participants to recall intrinsic motivation memories related specifically to personal meaning. For example, remember an activity that was personally meaningful to you. 4. Though we recognize the two key aspects of intrinsic motivation memories, we could not fully understand the unique
Airdrop
antecedents
incoming.
and consequences of these two different aspects. This neuroimaging study of people's memories of an intrinsically motivating episode in
Chip
their
terminal
life
is
suggests
almost
that
ready.
people store intrinsic motivation memories differently, weighing two aspects. Pleasure derived from earlier emotional experiences of need satisfactions on the one hand, but personal meaning derived from earlier self-endorsement during need-satisfying opportunities on the other. Therefore, in future research,
The safe
we
zone
need
is
to
collapsing.
understand why people could put different emphasis on their previous motivation memories and how these retrospective motivation memories might have different impacts. Conclusion. In this study, we found that the BMPFC activity and self-based processing and ACC activity are critical for the retrieval processes of intrinsic motivation memories. These neural findings suggest that by more emphasizing the aspect of intrinsic satisfaction stored as an experience of hedonic pleasure, or the aspect of intrinsic satisfaction stored as an experience of personal meaning and the pursuit of eudaimonic purpose. Compliance with ethical standards. Conflict of interest. None of the authors on this paper has any conflict of interest to report. Ethical approval. All procedures performed in studies involving human participants were in accordance with the ethical standards of the Institutional and/or National Research Committee and with the 1964 Helsinki Declaration and its
Down
later
to the last
amendments
5
for
teams.
comparable ethical standards. Informed consent. Informed consent was obtained from all individual participants included in the study. Publisher's note. Springer Nature remains neutral with regard to jurisdictional claims in published maps and institutional affiliations. References. 1. Barrage K.C., Kringelbach, Effective Neuroscience and Pleasure, Reward in Humans and Animals. 191 Bush, G. Louis P. Posner, Michigan. Cognitive and Emotional Experiences in Anterior Cingulate Cortex. Trends in Cognitive Sciences. 2000.
The safe
4.
zone is collapsing.
215 to 222. 3. Cavazar, Kirameli E. Olson IR. Moscovich in the Parietal Cortex, an Episodic Memory, an Intentional Account. Nature Reviews Neuroscience. 2008. 9. 613 to 625. 4. Carter T.S., Braver T.S., Clark D.N., Bogdanic N.M., Snow D., Cohen J.D. Anterior
Only 2 teams left. Getting close to
and the
victory.
online monitoring of performance. Science. 1998. 280, 747 to 789. 510B. Van Francisco. Email. Richie E.
Winner.
Van der Kopp Dieter J.